Good evening and welcome to Going for Two. This is the only YouTube podcast in human recorded history to feature a male and female host, drinking our way through the important topics of the day as long as they touch the football world and not in that way. Tonight, we will talk about why Chris Pine doesn't move the lady parts, why it takes at least a blood alcohol content this high to co-host a show with me, why Bedazzled Catfish will be the Blue Plate Special in Nashville this weekend, and the NFL hates on a good person while giving a pass to another asshole. I am Zach Law, and this is Morrowind Sharona.
That's right. I like it. I might have to go with it.
June 7, 2017, and I binge listened to all back talk, so it's time for some quotes that you won't hear on this show, but you will on back talk. Progress isn't made by making men uncomfortable. Lists are bullshit, and people are going to have sex.
Well, it was actually progress isn't made by making men feel comfortable. You got to make them feel uncomfortable, but that's okay.
Well, that's the best I could come up with. Let's take a man to not listen correctly, right? So do you have your stout going on, milk stout?
It's been an awesome day in Sharona world. And I'm celebrating, and it's, the culmination of an awesome day. It's an awesome show with my buddy Zach. And so I am celebrating, of course.
Oh, wow. Bringing out the big guns.
Hell yeah, I mean.
I did initially think that Dragon's Milk was the key to Nashville Predators victories, but I haven't had one since, I think, the Anaheim series, so I think it's not me.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. The Preds are catching the hockey world by fire or setting them on fire. I'm not sure which cliche to use there, but it's I said on my podcast, I think it was last week, that it's the Nashville Predators are leading a revolution in hockey in the South, and I think that that's accurate. It's pretty amazing to watch.
Well, I hope it hangs on better than the Carolina, whatever the hell they are, that won in 2006 and have never been relevant since. You do have to maintain in the South. You win a championship and people are behind you in the South, but then it's
and by the
SEC.
way,
Yeah, I know, exactly.
I had to use my Game of Thrones glass that my good buddy Zachary got for me.
Yeah, and if you're not drinking as often, man, Dragon's Milk is going to be really strong.
I know. I'm going to be tipsy in 7 minutes.
Now, I was telling Sharona before the show, I'm like, I think I probably have more types of coconut beer than she has types of total beer in her selection. So I have the Burial Bolo. I appreciate a brewery that does a 4-pack, but does 16-ounce cans, so you get, the same amount, or, well, slightly less, but it's still good. And then Oscar Blues, which is also, they're
Death by Coconut.
They're in North Carolina as well, Death by Coconut. Which literally almost came true because Josh Ducaster, who's been on the show, I once said, hey, you want this? He's like, I'm actually allergic to coconut, so I probably would die if I drank that.
I love coconut, but I have to say the thought of a coconut beer, not really that. Do you see my little buddy there in the background?
I see that.
We had to. We've got we've got an onlooker. The peanut gallery is in attendance. No cats tonight. They've been going crazy today. It really has been a pretty awesome day in Sharona world.
Well, yeah, you have video games and stuff. But
Well, yes. Wait for that. Okay.
Let's keep the hockey talk going because
Sorry.
I don't remember what
you suck, Pin.
Now, why can't we have chants like that in the NFL? I don't want that crazy air horn that goes off every 2 seconds in Pittsburgh because that's the worst. But most of the stuff the fans in Nashville do pretty good,
Yeah.
Except for that country singer who kind of botched the national anthem. It's like, dude, you got so many good singers. You got a guy who probably sings a bunch of songs about getting drunk and doing terrible things. And Come on.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh's got like the classically trained dude, but it was all about the catfish. I'm not sure if Vegas had an over/under on catfish, but I would have bet the over if it were possible. Did you see that catfish that came on early? This was before the game. They're
Yeah, I
wrapping
saw
him
the.
like in the towel, and he had the bedazzled hat. He
Mhm.
had like a stuffed penguin in his mouth. Well, we say him, it could have her. Let's not be sexist here. It could have been a
That's right.
female catfish that we just arbitrarily killed and throw in the ice just for random reasons.
Mm.
Not all catfish. Anyway, but this is almost official on Sunday. I am pretty much sure I'm going to be driving up to Nashville. Now,
Have you ever been to a Have you ever been to a playoff hockey game?
No, and I don't have the third mortgage to afford one to this game.
Well, yeah, but you should do the downtown thing if you can. I mean, yeah, I hear they're very, very pricey. Um, there's nothing like playoff hockey. There's just nothing like it. It's so awesome.
It just felt like
I
this
should
has
have worn
never
my Preds jersey. I didn't. Now I'm mad at myself.
this has never
Can I go
happened
change real
before.
quick?
If you feel like you must,
No,
want to be
I'm
in the
okay.
mood. Yeah, I'm kind of against crowds and all that, but I think it would be nice to head downtown for at least part of the day's activities, and then probably go back to my parents' house because my dad will probably be asleep by the third period. But my parents are retired, so they can sleep whenever they want. My cousin came down. He's a Penguins fan. He brought his kids. I don't think they actually got into the stadium because he probably could afford a ticket, but not three. I think the famous story was that somebody bought 3 tickets behind the glass for like $30,000 for Game 6, and I was thinking my parents have Titan season tickets and watch them finally get a home AFC Championship game, which they've never had, even the Houston years, and if they get offered like 5 figures for those tickets, it'd be like, it's on TV.
I wore my Predators jersey to see. I know I'm not jumping ahead. I'm just going to mention it to see Wonder Woman, and a guy who was waiting to watch the movie too struck up a conversation, and we had like a 10-minute conversation about the Preds. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I don't even know if there's really been a lot of talk about. There's always talk about bandwagoning with teams that are relatively new to the playoffs, but I haven't really heard much about that. But hey, I'm the guy who didn't watch the Penguins last year until like the 3rd round of the playoffs. And this year I only started watching, I think, in round 2. I was like, let me know. When they swept Chicago, I was like, okay, they swept the #1 team. Okay, they might have something. But this series, the first time they've been behind, they came back. It was almost fait accompli they were going to win, but in both games they were losing, and so they had to come back.
Well, I think there's people who get upset about bandwagoning and stuff. I mean, it just drives me nuts because you're just going to have that, and you should welcome new fans to your sport and be like, yeah, hell yeah, we're awesome. See how awesome we are? Come on aboard. And I shouldn't say most, but I think a lot of Predators fans are like that. Yeah.
We're in a weird era of like the purity test, but it's very subjective as to what is. And it's always that sports thing where people get mad if you don't root for the same team for your entire life. And if you root for multiple teams in the same sport, oh man, you burn them at the stake. And so it's good to go.
It's crazy.
Hey, you're rooting for a city, you got Nashville. Nashville. I think they posted that they won some minor league hockey championship in like 1964, something like that. So it's been a while. I don't know. Has the Sounds ever won anything? Would anybody remember if that happened?
The Sounds have been successful. I couldn't tell you exactly how much, but they're a good team.
This is an early over or nah. Playing Rocky Top at a Predators game.
That was so funny. Why not? I mean, sure. They played. It wasn't. They one of the weirder things was them playing "Hey Jude," which is awesome, and the crowd was singing to it, and I was like, "Wow," that was anyway. Sure,
They really play the random music, and there's some like
why not?
official Predators theme song that I heard a few times. Because I've
It
been
used to be their goal song used to be "All I Do Is Win." All I do is win, 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 no matter what. But they've changed it.
That's your official theme song for the going for two draft, right?
Yeah, right. We need to
All
get on
she
that, by
does
the
is
way.
win. I know we have to think about football. It's only like 96 days away until we get to watch the stupid Patriots again. Bleh.
Well, Scott Fishbowl is less than a month away.
Yeah, I'm doing that mock, and it seems like every other pick I do gets auto picked. So my team is turning out. I think I just drafted. I was in the 14th round, and I had a choice between Cameron Brate as my third tight end or Jared Goff as my third quarterback, and I took Brate. I feel like Brate's going to be like gold. Everybody's like, "Ooh, OJ Howard from Alabama." Like half his career yards are in those two games against Clemson. I don't think he's going to do much his rookie year.
It's
Cameron Brate
crazy.
was awesome. They gave him an extension, and Jameis Winston has love with him. So we'll see. We already know Jameis is better than this guy, right, Sharona?
You need to just sit down and STFU.
Yeah, we'll be
I
talking
had
about
been
the
see,
ultimate robotic quarterback shortly, or now.
I had been telling Zach, statistically, Marcus Mariota has been better than Jameis Winston, and Zach, of course, doesn't believe me. But I said, and wasn't it PFF that made my point for me?
I thought you didn't like PFF, but I don't really know if you like
No, I
anybody
do.
except me occasionally.
I don't. I think that you have to take their O line stuff in
Hmm.
context and for what it is, which most people don't do. But no, I like PFF. I don't know where you got that. Probably because I hate on their
I
O
think
line stuff,
I think I
which
mentioned
is
them
fair.
once, and it's like that.
You sent me. It was the
Stick your
stuff
hand
about.
out and you get bit,
It
and you're
was
like, I'm not sticking my hand out again. So that's how I am with certain
no. It was
names.
the stuff. I know it. What it was. It was the stuff about the offensive line, particularly the tackles, and I mean, it is what it is, and Jack Conklin had a very, very, good year for a rookie, but he wasn't nearly as good as advertised. I'm not sorry, not sorry. It's just true.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
thought him as all pro seemed to be pushing it, but
it was
I don't really
ridiculous.
care. I'm like, it's a first round pick the Titans made that they might actually
Yeah,
keep all the way to the fifth year
yeah,
and not
right. I mean,
dash
that's
them
why I
back
didn't
left
say
and
much.
right.
I only told you, which I'm going to quit doing because you constantly reveal what I tell you in DM, which is bad DM form.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Hmm. Well, okay, fine. What happens in DMs is not staying DMs. Like one time I didn't reveal a secret you told me in advance, and I feel like I get no credit for that. So I'm very sad, and I'll try to reveal everything, even
Well,
things I
when
make up.
when it's like 50 to 1, what you gonna do?
50, huh? Oh, that's not right.
That's not right.
Let's see here. Oh, it's time to transition into the little. Well,
Are we gonna do
I was
Wonder Woman?
initially we were going to talk about Wonder Woman first, but I was like, you know what? Women are having too good this week. We're going to put you back. You get segment 4. We'll cover,
You need to
best
sit
for
down
last kind of
and
situation.
all caps STFU.
Now that's 2 this episode. We're doing good. Now, if you want to jump and you want to go to it because you have seen the movie now, right? I think when
I
we
have
tweeted
just
back and
once
forth,
though. I want to see
just
it again.
once. Yeah, what's with you with the repeat viewings? Like, I feel like you've watched Sense8 like 50 times, so
Easily,
it
it
must
might
be
even be
good.
100. I'm still mad. I still have hope that they'll come to their senses. Just, hey, I did it funny. Um, yeah. If I like something and it's not isolated to games, movies, television shows, it becomes a part of me. Like I'm even like that about vehicles. I get attached to them, and I won't. I don't move on until I'm absolutely forced to. Yeah, I'm just like that. That's just who I am.
Yes,
Weird, I
yes, it
know.
is. So we'll skip. We'll jump ahead. A Wonder Woman
Okay.
reaction. So when Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out, I assumed that my wife wouldn't see it because we saw the first one and she liked it, and she's like, "Eh." But then when Wonder Woman was like, "We're going to see that," so she was in New York and came home on Saturday. So Sunday was like, "Oh, that's a good excuse to just sit around and eat a giant bucket of popcorn and watch the movie." And it was, I'd heard general like it's good, and then there was an NPR review that was kind of in the middle. So it made me go, maybe there's more hype than substance there. But it was great all the way through. Really enjoyed it. I heard out later that the actress in the role was like pregnant during the filming, which is crazy, of course. Men are just terrible. I mean, come
I
on.
didn't know
You think
that,
a
but that's
man was pregnant, he'd be freaking doing a movie.
yeah. Listen, if men had to have periods and carry babies, birth control would be free and over the counter, and yeah, I mean, it would be, you know, there wouldn't be, you wouldn't have Republican assholes out here trying to say, well, we'll let you insure that, but not that part of your body.
Just give that to the whole state of Texas, man. Every single day, they're like passing new laws, just like, "Hey, women, we hate you, and you're gonna vote. Half of you are gonna vote for us anyway, and we don't care. We're not talking
So
about that crap. We're
crazy.
talking about this." Now, in the movie Die Hard, and trust me, this will make sense in a minute. There's a scene where the bad guy tells his minions to shoot the glass because John McClane wasn't wearing any shoes. How come the Germans didn't figure out she's got little things that deflect bullets? Maybe we should shoot low. But they didn't. And they had no chance against Wonder Woman when she came running and attacked them.
I thought the action scenes, and I saw it in digital 3D, which was pretty awesome.
Hmm.
And I thought the action scenes were so good. I mean, they were so good, and yeah, it was. If you listen to my podcast, you know this, Zach. But yeah, the only thing
If.
I'm just saying, since you did, really the only quibble that I have is that they had to pack so much into 2 hours, and that story, I think, was it's kind of an ongoing, and maybe we'll see more, but it's a story that's certainly, in my opinion, worthy of a trilogy.
Well, I mean, there's going to be continuation because whatever is Zack Snyder directing this next, Justice League. I think it's coming out this year, so that's kind of continuing story. And in theory, she's the co-star with, is it Batman, Superman? Oh, that's right, he's dead. He's not dead. No one's ever dead in comic books. That's the only thing.
Nope.
I mean, I was talking to a guy last night who was really like comic books growing up, and I feel like I missed out because as a child I never did read them,
No
so
way.
I never really felt the connection to them. There's always this, there's an unreality to it all. It's like, oh, remember World War I where like millions of people died and there's always machine gun and just one person came in and wiped it out. Which of course makes me wonder, was there World War II in this universe? Because, she could wipe out the Germans in like 5 minutes and, no problem.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It's not the fault of the actress playing Wonder Woman if because they had to create, they've done various versions of this character over the years, and so they had to kind of put them all together and create the story. And we had the kind of the Greek gods involved. I was very happy. I don't know, do you watch the show Fargo?
No.
Because the guy who plays the bad guy, maybe I won't give anything away since it did just come out, is in the show Fargo, and he's also a bad guy in that. But they make a big point of showing his really bad British teeth. And I noticed in the movie that his teeth they almost never showed his teeth. So I was like, oh man, they couldn't even CGI whiten his teeth for the movie. But
They
but
do
yeah, it
that with
was.
they do that with Morgan Freeman too, who has bad teeth. It's kind of funny.
But no, it was fun. It was a lot of action, and they did throw. Chris Pine had to be the guy, and he was kind of almost the guy version of the female character that is kind of a
Is that
throwaway
who
in some of
played
these movies. Yeah,
Chris Pine who played?
he has to be in almost all of these. Like he's in Star Trek, and they probably are going to throw him in Star Wars too because he's just so pretty.
He looked he looked different to me. I kept trying to figure out who he was, because I saw he was in. Oh, anyways, it'll come to me. I mean, he's pretty enough, I suppose. But I mean, I wouldn't if he were in a crowd. He wouldn't probably be the one I would go for. But yeah, I mean,
Sharona says, "No thanks, Chris Pine."
sorry, Chris Pine.
I mean, he was the character who ended up being without clothes in that movie. So here you go, a little reversal
I
of the situation.
I just there's I trying to think. There was a review that kind of captured. Maybe it was on Jezebel. I think I tweeted it out, but it was everything I could have wanted. I enjoyed it that much. I don't really have much to complain about. So good, girl power.
All right, time for my obligatory line. So, women have reached an important pinnacle, but I will not trust them until they can make a bad comic book movie and get even more of them. Much like the first two DC, because they said that even though Wonder Woman broke some records, that the first two DC movies that were both panned pretty much universally did make more money initially. I think the staying power, though, I think Wonder Woman, more people are probably going to go see it now. Maybe the people who complained about the all women showing in Austin.
Good God.
Even got like the mayor of Austin like trolling them, which I thought was great. It's like you got
They are
there's some
really
evil, like awful people right now, but you kind of have to joke at them at least a little bit because
they're such snowflakes. I mean, they really are such little snowflakes.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Anyway.
And the only way to make sure a comic book movie doesn't go rated R is that there is no blood. There was like she stabs a guy with a sword. The sword is like clean. Like nice. That's how Sharona would do it.
Absolutely.
The sword. What was it? The God Killer or something it was called?
Yes.
I was like, I need that.
Yes, it was. Are we getting to Morrowind yet?
Well, we got to talk. It's a good time to transition to Over It or Nah.
Okay.
Which is, I'm trying to actually do segments. I'm no professional. I don't play music between my segments every 5 minutes like Sharona's in her show because she's pro. No, I could sing between segments.
Do I get to talk about my awesome day at some point during this show? I'm doing a podcast on Friday, so if I don't get to tell I've got a really cute story to tell.
Spoiler alert.
I've got a cute story to tell. It's like, we were just talking about. I mean, there really are some some awful people in the world, and I spent some time going through my follow list over the weekend. I'm not done. I'm going to do it some more, but there were some awesome people in the world too, and I had a really awesome experience, and I want to tell it.
All right. Well, Over It or Nah.
Okay.
This is another video game that Sharona likes that has references to old people. Morrowind. What is this thing? You talked about some kind of bonus pack thing on your show, but as usual, gaming talk flies right over my pretty head.
Morrowind.
That's even better. The wind of doom. Do not get in the elevator with Morrowind after it has fajitas.
So, One of my favorite video game. I'm gonna get all choked up and emotional. One of my favorite video games of all time is Morrowind, which was the third installation of the Test series, which Test is the Elder Scroll series, and then the fourth one was Oblivion, which was critically acclaimed and a big hit. Morrowind was too, and then Skyrim, and now you've got Test Online, you've got Skyrim remastered, and the first major expansion for Test Online, which is a video game that I play on the regular, is Morrowind, and I was as nervous, if not more so, for it than I was Andromeda, which I played last night. I hadn't played it in a few weeks, and I'm still going to do my review, I promise. But so, and I knew that, and then when they started talking about it being like a new game and a major, and I knew it was going to be expensive, and it was. It was very expensive, but I was like, I'm not out here buying every new game that comes out, and I I'm gonna do it. I just, sometimes you just have to treat yourself. And so I pre-ordered it after much consideration. And then what's today's Wednesday? Monday night. Okay, no, wait. I'm gonna get mixed up. Was it Monday night or Tuesday? I'm so mixed up. It was Monday night that today is the 7th. Yes.
Yep.
Monday night, the Predators played, and it was going to drop on supposedly you're able to do it around midnight or whatever. And so I was up until like 2 o'clock in the morning, Tuesday morning, waiting, and it was still they were still updating and everything. And so so I kept saying I wasn't going to sleep because we were supposed to have a Zach's eyes are crossing, but that's okay. This is my story. I'm telling it. We were supposed to have a repair guy come, so I was like, I won't even sleep. And so, but anyway, so I did lay down and nap, and then it took like forever for the game to update, and the repair people didn't come, and it was like, "Brr." So I finally got to play it Tuesday afternoon, and I actually streamed, which is something I'm going to be talking about on my podcast on Friday. And I'll just go ahead and tell everybody that, because I haven't told my story yet, that I'm going to start streaming games a whole lot more, and I'm going to hook up my Connect now that I have finally upgraded something that I really needed to upgrade. I'm going to start. I streamed about an hour, I guess, of Morrowind yesterday, and I'm going to start streaming a lot more. So if you want to watch Sharona play video games, I'll be tweeting out information and talking about it on Friday.
That's right, y'all.
So yeah, Morrowind,
Something to look forward to.
awesome.
I don't know, for some reason it reminded me, and eyes are going to be rolling on Sharona's end, of when Phil Simms at the Super Bowl, that was the first year they did the whole Disneyland, Disney World thing. And he wasn't going to do it, and then in the end he decided to do it. And he couldn't remember if it was Disneyland or Disney World. So the first time he's like, I'm going to Disneyland. I mean Disney World. I mean Disneyland. And that was like me saying Morrow World versus Morrowland. And
Oh, listen, I don't know the difference between Disney World and Disneyland. I think Disneyland's in Florida and Disney World's in Cali. But who cares?
yeah,
Disney.
it's Disney something. It doesn't really matter. Okay, over it or nah, since I listened. Ugh, no coconut beer before shows. Solo podcasting.
I like them, and I definitely will do well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. Maybe we'll get somebody to pop on with me on Friday. I like doing some solo shows. I like having guests on too. But when I do a solo show, I used to call them Down and Dirty, and maybe I'll go to that, back to that. I still think that I should. I don't know. I'm still tossing around the thought of changing my podcast to get off my lawn, but I kind of like back talk, and I think that kind of fits me and
Hmm.
and all of that. So I don't know, but Yeah, I like them, even though I like having guests and I like having, guest co-hosts and whatever. It's all good.
Whatever. Over it or not, saving all your beers for me.
Nah, I mean that's, and I'm gonna pardon me for getting maudlin a little bit. Just, I kind of embarked on this new sobriety journey, which I guess is a little bit of a misnomer because I'm drinking a beer tonight and I'm going to allow myself to drink a little bit, but I'm drastically cutting back, and my intent is to, if I feel like it, have one on this show because I enjoy that. And doing a show with Zach is one of my favorite things. And, on the weekends, if I feel like it, I had already had purchased some wine. And so I have some wine to, to finish, but I haven't bought any more. So it may just be that I'll keep a bottle of wine for a special occasion and have a beer with Zach on Wednesday night. So, but already I feel so much better. I just feel so much better. And so I know that it was, the right decision, but I don't want people to feel uncomfortable around me and feel like they can't drink around me. It's not going to bother me at all. I mean, it's not going to bother me at all.
Well, I heard the story on the podcast, and I was like, that's good. You got to do something for yourself. And then I was like, wait a second, am I forcing her to drink on the show? No, let's do it. I will, in honor of solidarity and the fact that I'm probably going to be drinking some during certain sporting events tomorrow night. I'll take a night off. I'll take one for the team. And then Sharona's like, no, I'm going to drink a beer. I'm like, wait a
Well,
second. Do you have to drink to be around
I
me? Or
just
wait a second. Or we just turn it around?
I mean, I think that it's awesome that you asked. I really do, and I think that
I mean, I didn't mean it, but I said
well, no, I mean,
it.
there are awesome people in
Hmm.
this world, and I know that it's because we've had people on this show who have, and we do drink beer and whatever, and we've had people on the show and they've been like, well, I quit drinking or I'm a recovering alcoholic or whatever, and and it does you don't really, when you're someone who drinks and you're confronted with that, and it's a bit of a shock because it's new information and you don't want to do anything to hurt somebody else. And I think it's awesome that people care enough to say, okay, if it's important enough, I won't do it. So it's okay. We're
Yeah, I'm
all in
pretty
this
sure
together.
I think it was one of our interviews where it was like, hey, what do you like to drink? And it's like, oh, I quit drinking like 10 years ago. And it's like, oh, I mean, never mind. I'm sorry. I mean,
Yeah,
more for
well, we
me.
should
Yeah,
talk.
that's what it is.
No, I mean, we should talk about those things. I think it's important to, open line of communication and talk and all that.
True. Okay, did mention this earlier, but
Oh,
I heard that Netflix canceled Backtalk for season 3, so you're gonna have to have a letter writing campaign. Sense
bat
8.
talker, bat
You
talker,
mentioned Sense
sensei.
8. Well, he was making a joke. It didn't go very well, so it's okay
Oh,
though. We keep rolling. Play through pain or pain into my jokes. Sense 8 is probably the
I
only
know.
Netflix show that I didn't watch because we had it
Why
for a
not?
couple months. I just did, and I was watching a bunch of other stuff and never came up. And we had that one week where we had everything. We couldn't watch everything. But there isn't that much. It's like I'm actually watching the show The Leftovers. Everybody's talking about it because it just ended. And
Yeah,
there's only 3 seasons, which means I can probably catch it. Well, I don't know. We're going to binge Game
I'm
of
gonna
Thrones
binge
too.
it too. Yeah, I'm gonna binge it.
It's a
Um,
bit of a downer of
si-
a show. I'm hoping Sense8 is a little more uplifting, but I hear good things. Wasn't it from The Matrix?
yes, it was from
I'd
the
say
Matrix people.
guys, but I don't think they're guys anymore. I don't know. I'm
They're
confused.
they're, they're trans
Yeah,
women, and they've all gone
I
through the
knew. Yeah,
conversion. And it, and I say this a lot, and I really don't think I would have survived 2016 without it. It's so good. It's just so good. And if they don't bring it back, we'll always have the first two seasons, and I will probably watch them until the day I die. It's that
Well,
good. I don't
I
care
wonder if
whether you agree or not.
it'll be like Firefly, which is almost like it's almost better because it didn't go through the whole run. Like everybody's like, man, what it could have been, and then of course Firefly was even worse because they cut it off like halfway through the first season. And they did a movie, but that just kind of tied together some strings. But you knew, like,
I never
yeah, in
saw.
an
I
alternate
didn't see that.
universe, they
Should
could
I
have
watch
gone.
that?
It's really good. It's got Nate Fillion in there, and some people think he's Purdy, maybe more Purdy than Chris
Who?
Pine.
Who?
Nathan Fillion.
Oh, I don't know him.
I'm trying to remember what else.
I don't know him.
He's on the show Castle. He was in
Oh,
Waitress.
okay.
Anyway, yeah, good show. And it's like I said, I had the DVD set. I think I rewatched it. Only rewatched it twice. I am not catching up with Sharona. And I got to watch it like in a weekend because there's nothing
Hashtag
there.
get on my level.
Okay, we haven't talked. We've been a very positive show tonight. We haven't talked much about the assholes. So let's talk about one who has now been forgiven by NFL because as long as you don't try to donate supplies to people in the Sudan, you're cool as far as the NFL is concerned. Hank Williams Jr. is no
Oh,
longer a bigot, says the NFL in Monday Night Football. Because everybody remembers that theme song of his. And then I recall him saying things about Obama that, if were said about Trump, would get people fired. But it was different times then. And they've
yeah.
kind of let it go. It was a minor, like it kind of, there's too much crap right now, really. To focus on
So
one thing is
much.
tough. So this is a
So much.
minor thing, but it is sports related. And occasionally we talk about sports on this show. So what say you?
I've seen Hank Williams Jr. in concert one time, and I was young, and it was with Charlie Daniels, and he was so drunk and so obnoxious they had to pull the sound on him and turn on the lights to make him get off stage so that Charlie Daniels could come on stage and do his show. Um, I enjoy a lot of Hank Williams Jr. and his music. Family Tradition is, I think, it's up there with one of my all-time favorite songs. I believe in second chances. I believe that people should get an opportunity to learn from their mistakes and to be forgiven and to get that those additional opportunities. Having said all of that, I'm reasonably certain that Hank Williams Jr. is who we think he is, and that ESPN is tilting heavily right wing right now.
Yeah, I've noticed because we've talked about certain voices who are always very anti-left, although they seem to kind of imply that being pro-right is cool. And they say, ESPN is this crazy leftist thing, but they never give. Why don't they pat Stephen Smith on the back for like hating on Colin Kaepernick? You mentioned on the show the woman who accused the NASCAR driver of beating her up.
It's not
That
even
got
like she accused.
that
I
got
mean,
thrown out there. There
it
was
was. She just talked about it. I mean, it wasn't. And anyway, don't get me started. Don't get me started. ESPN is dead. And it was outside the lines. I thought they were better and smarter, and I thought they were better than that. And I'm still, I don't, I still can't comprehend who made that decision and why there's not been an apology. And anyway, yeah.
well, this is our era. If anybody is even hinted at saying something that's left leaning, they have to apologize, get fired, never be heard from again. If somebody says something like "give the Nazis a chance," they
Listen,
kind of get their moment. It's
no,
okay.
listen, I said there's not always two sides. You don't always have to be tolerant. You shouldn't be tolerant about people who think it's okay to rape kids, right? There's not two sides to that, right? There's not two sides to whether or not it's okay
Well, there are a
to
lot
beat
of
the shit out of your girlfriend. There's not always two damn sides.
yeah. It's interesting that after we've had Fox News for about 20, 30 years, where they basically the rules where you used to have to be to play both sides were gone thanks to that. But now it's like anytime someone says anything that is kind of left leaning, you feel like, oh, I have to say the other thing, but it doesn't go both ways. And yeah, you're right. It's like we don't have to have the
There's a
argument
right and a
whether
wrong.
white nationalism is good or bad. We shouldn't have to argue that the people on the side of the Civil War might have been slightly off in their opinions, but we're still having that argument and we're repeating it, and it's just okay. No, people still don't get it. Okay, let's try this again one more time. See, Sharona, getting you going though. That's good.
You got me going there for a minute. I'm like, reel her back in.
Well, we got one more. This was
Okay.
news that kind of came out of nowhere. It's usually a relatively dead month for football news,
Mm.
but there's always something going on. So Bob Stoops of Oklahoma quit. I believe he did quit today.
Oh, I missed that.
And it's people. There's always got to be something behind it. It's a weird
Usually.
time because they did have a hot like offensive coordinator who's like 10 years younger than me who's going to take over. So maybe they were like, well, why don't we let this guy take over? It's actually, impressive that I think he's averaged 10 wins a season. Not that 10 wins is what it used to be because you used to play 11 games. Now you play like 15. But still, Oklahoma, middle of the country, very consistently good. Bob Stoops, yeah, he's done. He's
I'm,
out.
well, there may be a story there. I still think there was a story behind Steve Spurrier quitting during the season. Will we ever know it? I don't know. But no, I didn't know that because of the story that I'm just dying to tell.
So you want to tell it, or are you going to save your? Because
It doesn't matter.
you've talked about your video game, but Jim talked about the fact that you got this new TV, which
I
is
did.
I can tell that I'm important because you like got away from the TV for an hour to have me piss you off about stuff.
You didn't piss me off. That subject pisses me off. Yeah, so my TV, the TV that is mine, is dreadfully old. I mean, so old. And it's been kind of going in and out. For the longest, I had the backlights going out. For the longest, it wouldn't work without a light source behind it. And I kind of fixed that. You never know when it's going to go out and what have you. And so I did some work for kind of like a barter system kind of work for a family member, and in exchange I was able, and plus I had um, some help, and so I was able to upgrade, which is why I'm going to be streaming more gaming here on out. I was able to upgrade. And I'll tell the whole story. I don't want to bog everybody down. I'll tell the whole story on Friday, maybe. But so I went and I had been researching and looking, and I had been kind of looking around a little bit for months and stuff. And so I went, excuse me, I went to the store to get the one that I thought I was going to get. And then I got there, and I know that most TVs are built by the same companies, but it was always my thought process, whether it's right or wrong, that even though there may be only two companies actually build these TVs, they build them to the specs of their customers. And I think it's long been my opinion, and I'm set in my ways, and you're probably not going to change it, that Samsung is the best. And I really wanted a Samsung, but they were so much more expensive. And so I was going to get a Vizio, and I had an awesome deal. And so I get to the store, And there's this Samsung that is much bigger and everything that I want, and it's not that much more, a little bit, but not that much more. And so I ended up buying it, and I'm gonna cry. It's so awesome.
Oh, wow.
No,
Cry
really,
over
it is.
TV, huh?
It's so great. It's so pretty and it's beautiful. And so I test drove Morrowind, and it's so funny because it like last night, was it last night? Yeah, last night I tried to log on and play a little bit, and it was the server. I think Xbox Live had some issues anyway, which is why I played Andromeda for a little while. You couldn't get on, and so just out of curiosity, and I'll talk about this on Friday too. I don't. There's no shame in my game. So just out of curiosity, I popped in my old more. I have two versions. I have the Game of the Year edition, and then I have the no wait, I have the Platinum edition, and then I also have the Game of the Year edition, the original disc for Morrowind. And so I popped in the Platinum edition, and just to out of curiosity. And it's so amazing how much different, the new technology and stuff is. So, but what I want to tell you guys, this is kind of a neat little story. So, and it looks so amazing. And so as we were leaving the store, headed back home, the it was like traffic and stuff, and so we were trying to get out into traffic, and there's a backlog and everything, and this lady let us out. And so I made it a point as we were pulling around her to catch her eye and to wave and to say, to mouth thank you at her, and she made a little hearty face to me, and I'm like, oh,
Hardy
I should be
face.
I mean, I should be doing that to you, not, I mean. And it just, there still are good people in this world. And even though I was having an awesome day, that made my day. It was so neat.
Should we try the Hardy face at sporting events?
I don't know. You're probably getting knocked out.
It probably won't work. Hey, Raiders
So,
fans, sorry, your
anyway,
team's moving to Vegas. Hard save.
you know, but it was pretty neat. And, there are good people in this world. And, yeah, the whole today was an awesome day. It was pretty special.
And Dragon's Milk. Boom.
And dragon's milk, and I am tipsy, because you can't
I've
tell.
saved I've saved two for a later day. I don't know. I might bring them to opening day Titans.
Are we doing? We are. We're good. We're doing the Raiders.
Yeah, I think we even had a discussion. We're like,
Uh,
do we really like going to live sporting events? And it's like when my dad's like, we can get tickets to any Titans game. All right, let's go to the Raiders game. Okay.
I'm so hype about that.
As much fun as the idea of doing like opening day, sports bar, all the games, it's going to be pretty good for the Titans. I mean, I don't know how the season's going to turn out, but the excitement level for opening day, and they're playing a team that made the playoffs last year and has a lot of hope. Maybe they'll Jack Del Rio themselves at some point, hopefully.
I've always liked Jack Del Rio, and I remember when he was the coach of the Jags, and there was this website that used to do like funny videos. I wish I remembered the name of it, and they had the funniest Jack Del Rio video ever. I used to scream with laughter when I saw it. I'll have to try and look that up. But yeah, I'm excited. Playoffs or bust, baby.
That's right. Something. Okay, so now that we've talked about our lady movies and such and their gaming, it's time
It's
for the
been
last segment, a little bit of sports talk.
Uh-oh.
The Jets are getting rid of old players. They released David Harris yesterday and then Eric Decker today. Everybody's talking about how The Ravens
They
had no receivers, and now Macklin and Decker are on the market
they
all of a
traded
sudden.
Calvin Pryor. I mean, it's kind of
Oh
crazy what
yeah,
they're doing. Crazy Jets.
Crazy Jets. Yeah, they're kind of taking over as the new Browns. I mean, I picked up McCown in my dynasty league just because no quarterbacks are available. But sadly, it's the same bye week as Cam Newton, so no use to me. But that's all right.
Hmm.
So this morning, one of my followers made a comment about how people whining about Colin Kaepernick's not going to help his situation at all. So are we sick of people whining about Colin Kaepernick on one side or the other?
I don't know that anybody's whining. And when you
Ooh.
point out injustice, some people take offense to that. Which fuck you, I really don't care. Um, you know what what is happening to Colin Kaepernick is wrong, and if it offends you that I'm going to keep saying that, well, sorry, not sorry.
It offends me deeply. Not really. I still think there's a little Michael Sam going there. Like Michael Sam, if he was like a first round pick level talent, the fact that he was gay probably wouldn't have been an issue. But because he was a borderline player, it helped him kind of get out. And Kaepernick, because we have so many people who are like, oh, you can't protest the mighty flag in our military that's paying money to the NFL, or is it the other way around? I keep forgetting. You can't say anything negative. And Kaepernick, some people just don't like him, although he was one of the highest selling jerseys, I think, even still, now that he doesn't have a team. And they gave his number to like Matt Barkley. Yeah, to see all these lame, like Austin Davis, I don't even know if he was in the league last year. He didn't play last year. He
I
last
don't know
played for
either.
the Cleveland Browns, but I still think, like, I think Seattle was a good spot for him, but I don't know if they're looking for a backup. I mean, they have the guy they got last year, and it's kind of like they just want a body at quarterback. I don't know if they want him there or not.
I don't think that's true.
Maybe an
I think
injury will get him in a spot, but I
I
don't
think
know.
if anything, past history tells us that having a starter or as close to a starter quality backup is essential in this league. And so you can miss me with your bullshit about whether or not that's a good reason. No, it's not a good reason.
And it did seem like a good locker room for him because they got Michael Bennett there, and whatever BS article about there being fracturing in the locker room with Russell Wilson and all that crap. I don't know if that's a real thing. But yeah, I think he would have fit in pretty well there. Maybe some places he wasn't going to fit in. I mean, I don't know. In a way, it's like a lot of players who leave the NFL, they don't know what to do with the rest of their lives. I think Colin Kaepernick knows what to do with the rest of his
I think
life.
he'll
So,
be okay.
and maybe that's another aspect to it is that you have to be seen as absolutely 150% devoted to the NFL if you're sort of on the fence. If you're like a superstar, you can kind of get away with some stuff, but if you're not, then you kind of have to toe the line. And everybody's saying, wait, you got other ideas. You read books that aren't the playbook? I don't know about that kind of talk. So that's involved, but the just vitriol and like the lies, like people are saying, oh, he wants this amount of salary. Oh, he wants to be a starter. It's like, has he actually said that? Maybe his agent is saying some stuff. The agents say shit all the time. So it seems like people are trying to use him to prop up a side. It's just like, come on, he's doing good stuff. There actually was like a protest at the NFL offices.
It's
People
crazy.
protesting for him, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And as we get toward the end of the hour, I must ask Sharona this critical
Oh.
question. Is Marcus Mariota a robot the NFL developed in the mid-90s?
Um, I don't know. Who is Marcus Mariota's agent? I think Marcus Mariota probably has a good agent, and
Probably.
he is obviously a low key guy, which is zero I have zero issue with that. And I would be willing to bet that Marcus Mariota privately has
A personality.
a life and a personality and opinions and all of that. And maybe we'll get to see and hear about that. Maybe not. And I said this about Cam Newton when people were on him about some of the comments that he made. You got to let these guys live. And not everybody wants to be Colin Kaepernick. And as long as they're not out here causing harm to others and, doing bad shit and beating their wives, girlfriends, whatever, let them live. Not everybody wants to be a role model. Not everybody wants to be an activist, and that's okay.
Well, I was thinking of two players in Nashville and how personalities are different, but they're definitely working well with the team. PK Subban of the Nashville Predators.
Oh my God, I love him so much.
Now, I have this ongoing text message with a bunch of family members, and most of them are rooting for the Penguins because this is a Pittsburgh family. My parents are kind of on the fence. But there were comments about how PK Subban's his breath, he was in Crosby and Malkin's face. So when PK Subban showed up to the game, he had a bag full of Listerine. He was going to hand out Listerine. My breath's going to be pretty sweet during the game.
My God,
he's very vocal, and I'm like, if a guy who's that talented and also has a personality leads a team to trade him, sounds like Nashville just totally won that trade. They traded a guy with a big contract and got a player who, damn, he hit a slap shot that broke a guy's foot too. He doesn't mess around. Great.
If you don't,
you have to talk smack. I think you're a defenseman in the NFL and NHL. So if you can, through the teeth that you don't have. You see those guys smile and their eyes are missing teeth. You're like, well, yeah. Take shots in the face. So yeah, Game 6.
I would legitimately
on Sunday to come to Nashville for Game 6.
I would legitimately own and wear a PK Subban jersey. I'd do it. I might do it. I'd do it if somebody wants to donate to the cause and give me a ticket. I'd go to the game.
Oh well, we'll see.
I said that I might go ahead and apply for credentials and do all of that, and I didn't. I sort of am kind of regretting that I didn't, but I've had so much to do, and and Morrowind dropping and Wonder Woman.
Important stuff, yeah. You got to get the creds if you want to see the preds. But the site that and the Twitter handle I discovered, Predneck Nation, that is one of the greatest. And they're actually doing Nashville radio, taking over because they're actually covering the team, not talking about the dumb crap like the catfish. They're actually, covering the game. And I still don't know who half the players are on the team, even after watching, 2 months of playoffs. So, but it is fun that, tomorrow night is Game 5 in Pittsburgh, but there will be a Game 6 no matter what on Sunday, and the CMAs are happening in Nashville, so Nashville's going to be nuts this weekend.
It's going to be insane.
It is a pain because I probably will drive Sunday and then drive back home Monday, and that's always the one-day trip when you have to go 4 hours. Sucks, but this is a sporting event. Who knows if it's going to happen again? It hasn't happened before, that's all I know. Team's been here 18 years, so let's do it. We've lost 2 hockey teams in Atlanta, so let's make sure Nashville stays strong. I just want
to say, and I really am tipsy. God help me. And I'm gonna add this. Somebody remind me. I'm gonna add this to the podcast on Friday.
Somebody.
There are some major snowflakes in the Penguins' stratosphere. That weather dude person can literally go fuck himself.
Yeah, it's not like the Penguins were kind of like the Steelers. They sucked forever, and then now they've had, they've won 4 championships in, 20 years or something. So they're all not quite on the level of New England Patriots fans, but there's some fans there that are a little bit our stuff don't stink, and you can't talk smack about the Predators fans because they've been strong. They've been. They don't play that stupid air horn every 30 seconds like they do in Pittsburgh. Oh, it's horrible. Tomorrow night, I'm gonna have to hit mute on my TV to keep up. But yeah, that's what we got. So what you got happening, Sharona? I just have a Twitter account where I just send you inappropriate, depressing DMs.
You haven't done that lately. Well,
Don't tempt me.
That talk is back. We're back. We did a podcast on Monday. You can find us on Podbean now, and iTunes. Podbean. And so we'll do a quick podcast on Friday, always on Wednesday night, one of my favorite hours of the week with Zach on Going for Two, and and I'm gonna have to figure out how to get you guys to it because I've got my YouTube is connected to one gamer tag and I stream on another, and so I've got to figure that out. But you can follow me on Twitter, Sports by Sharona, and I'll be tweeting out links to hopefully information and links to where you can catch my game streams. And I'm going to set my Connect up now that I've got a decent TV, and it's actually way more than decent, so that we can do all of that. And you can watch me playing Morrowind, which is so awesome.
Which is good. Excellent. Well, Zach_Law, that's where I retweet all the people worth tweeting and occasionally say things I shouldn't. But that's what Twitter's for, people. Enjoy it. So thanks to Sharona, and sorry, Don, I just mentioned you now. Don should be on at some point, and I do think as we get closer to Scott Fish Bowl, we got to get some Scott Fish folks on so we can pretend we're talking about, because that draft.
I got to start my mocks.
It's 4 weeks away. Yeah, I know. And NFL is like 90-ish days away. It's not very far. I told my wife, I'm like, Labor Day weekend's coming up. You know what that means? College football. And then the smile goes.
Which reminds me, I've been thinking I kept saying I would apply for creds to the Titans training camp, and I haven't done that yet. I really should do that. I should get back to covering Titans training camp. I might do that this year.
Do it. The crowds will be amazing.
Do it for the vine. Can't say that. Do it for the gram.
You could do that, I suppose. Well, thanks, Sharona. And as we like to sign off, kiss my grits.